Summer is approaching and we are about to enter the seemingly impossible battle against frizz. I want to let you know that it's not impossible. You can most definitely have frizz-free hair in the summer, but also I'm just saying that a little bit of frizz is not a bad thing. Embrace your frizziness, but I can totally understand if you want to maybe calm it down a bit. Tame it just slightly, you know, that's totally understandable. So today I am bringing you my best tips to fight frizz. Before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and you can also hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified every time that I upload. So I just want to start off by saying that literally everyone's hair is so different. My hair really tends to like humidity, definitely not anything extreme, but when there is a little bit of moisture in the air, I feel like my hair is softer, it has more volume. I just tend to prefer it. But I know that there are some of you who suffer from extreme frizz during this time of year. Now, my hair didn't always like a humid climate, and I think this has a lot to do with the fact that my hair is now much healthier than it has been in the past. Hydrated and healthy hair tends to do better with humid climates, but if your hair is dry, porous, or damaged, your hair will pull moisture from the air into your hair. So think of diffusion back in science class. So that's when molecules are moving from a higher level of concentration to a lower level. So obviously the higher level being the air moving into your hair, which has the lower level of moisture, thus creating a lot of frizz. So piggybacking off of that principle, you want to make sure that your hair is always really moisturized. The more moisturized your hair is, the less moisture that your hair is going to pull in from the air. So whether this means deep conditioning more regularly or just using products that have more moisture in them, literally do whatever works for you to make your hair more hydrated and more moisturized. My next tip is something you can do year-round, not just in the summer, although I find it a lot easier in the summertime because in the winter, rinsing your hair with cold water is just legit torture. This is obviously something that is going to be much easier to do in the summer because it's already warm out, but rinsing your hair with cold water is going to seal the cuticle of your hair and not allow any of that humidity to penetrate your strands. Again, this next tip can be used year-round. You want to make sure that you're using a microfiber towel or even a cotton t-shirt to dry your hair. A microfiber towel works best for me, and this is really going to cut down and eliminate any frizz or friction that you might get from a traditional towel. I've talked about this next tip so many times in my curly hair routines, but you want to make sure that you are applying your product to soaking wet hair. As soon as your hair starts to dry, you are giving frizz a chance to form. So bring your styling products in the shower and apply them in there. This way you are not giving your hair any chances to dry or create frizz before you've even begun your routine. You also want to make sure that you are using enough product in your hair. I know sometimes we're afraid of being a little bit too heavy-handed with product, especially with our hair type, because it can get weighed down, but you want to make sure that you are coating every single strand with product, because if any strand goes untouched, I can guarantee that that section of your hair is going to frizz up. So just take your time, apply your product, and make sure that you are getting every single section. So I know I've talked a lot about products that are going to amplify moisture and hydration in your hair, but during the summer, gels are seriously key because we really want to focus on two things. We want to focus on moisturization as well as holding and taming and blocking out frizz. Gels are going to be your best friend because they leave a cast around your hair while it is drying, and this is going to protect from any unwanted humidity or any frizz from forming while your curls are setting. Also, while your hair is drying, try not to touch it, and I usually fail miserably at this because I always am like clipping my hair for more volume, and I just can't stop touching my hair because it gets in my way constantly. But the less you touch your hair while it's drying, the better off you are. Also, in general, the less you touch your hair, even when it's dry. Again, this is not something I follow, but you know, if you can control yourself and don't feel the need to touch your hair all the time, you'll actually be much better off. During the summertime or during high humidity days, I rarely manipulate my curl. Do not fight your natural texture. So this obviously goes for heat styling or even elongating your curls, stretching your curls. I do have a whole video on that if you want to see how I do it, but I tend to avoid that on days that are very humid, only because I feel like my hair is way more susceptible to frizz when I do that. So really just playing up your natural texture is going to work best for a frizz-free style. Okay, and then my last tip is something that may or may not work for you, because I actually found this online while researching some additional tips, but I don't think this is necessarily true for me. But I found that avoiding humectants can be really helpful in the summertime. Humectants promote water retention and can attract moisture from the atmosphere. And a lot of times in curly hair products, you will find ingredients that are humectants. Some common humectants to look out for are propylene glycol, glycerin, agave nectar, honey, panthenol, sorbitol. You can find an extensive list online if you do some research. Now, the reason that I don't follow this tip personally is because some of my favorite products have humectants high in the ingredient list, such as the Mop Top Curly Hair Custard. I believe the second ingredient is glycerin. The Amika Curl Cream and Gel have glycerin and panthenol and a few other humectants in there, and those tend to work really well for me. I was actually in Florida and it's very humid there, and the only curly hair product I bought was the Mop Top Curly Hair Custard, just for packing purposes, and my hair did amazing with that in their very humid weather. So now, even though I don't follow this tip, I did want to mention it because it seems to be a very common thing that a lot of curly girls do. So in case these tips aren't enough for you, or you feel like your hair is just always frizzy and there's nothing you can do to help it, maybe try avoiding humectants during the summertime. Okay guys, so that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope that you found some of these tips helpful. If you felt like I missed anything or you have some really great tips for combating frizz, be sure to leave them down below. Help everyone out. We are entering the battle of the frizz season, and I'm sure everyone would appreciate any tips that you can share. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day and a really great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.